How are we all? Alrighty. Welcome. We are doing a raw vegan sushi class today. I decided to use raw ingredients today just because it adds a new dimension to sushi. We're so used to having a very moist, sticky rice. I love the crunch and the texture of the mighty cauliflower. So we're using a cauliflower today, full of all sorts of macronutrients, lots of vitamin C, lots of potassium. So really simply, just get your cauliflower, you trim off the leaves. You can use these. These are really great to put in your curry. All sorts of wonderful uses for the leaves. Definitely keep them by. They're fantastic as a stir fry. Really good just to eat raw. Delicious. It tastes like the, obviously this is a brassica, so it tastes very similar to the heart of a broccoli. So you're using the stem of a broccoli. It has a real sweet flavor, and it's just a really crunchy, delicious texture. I think it's really important to stress the fact that we're using all plant-based ingredients here. So this is obviously a sushi twist. The reason we're using plant-based ingredients is because the seas are in a real crisis ecologically right now. By 2050, they're predicting the complete mass collapse of all sea stock. So all the fisheries, they're all going to collapse. As we are releasing loads and loads of carbon dioxide into the air, the oceans are the biggest carbon sink, so it's absorbing loads and loads and loads of CO2, and this is causing an effect called ocean acidification. The pH is going down. This is preventing corals from growing. We're having mass coral bleaching, the die-off of a lot of corals. We're seeing fish, if it keeps going down the way it's going, fish embryos will not be able to grow a calcium vertebrate. So it's a really dangerous thing that we're looking at, basically only jellyfish being able to survive in our oceans by 2050. And this just can't happen. Every tertiary extinction that's ever happened has been because of what's happened in the oceans. The oceans are 70% on this earth, and it is so important that we as a terrestrial species recognize the importance of what's going on in the oceans right now. So I'm going to create a really funky twist on a classic sushi dish. Like I say, it's going to be raw. When you don't cook ingredients, you're obviously retaining a lot of enzymatic goodness. Try and keep the cauliflowers as fresh as you can. Go and pick them if you grow them. Brassicas are great. They're really diverse. They come from the wild mustard family, and they diversified into anything from kohlrabis to broccolis to Brussels sprouts, kale. There's an absolute plethora that they branched out into lots of different species. So, taking this humble, wonderful cauliflower, we are going to cut him in half. You probably only need about half a cauliflower. You can keep the stem. I've seen a lot of people only use the florets. Bun that. Use the whole thing. It's incredible. It's a wonderful flavor. We're just going to break them up a little bit. Now these florets actually, these are basically the unopened flowers. If you allow this to just continue to grow, same with broccoli, same with kale, you'll see these wonderful yellow flowers emerge, particularly around this time of year. Those little flowers are delicious. I love using them in the salads. It has a real almost like a pea shoot, really light, delicate, sweet flavor. And they just look amazing. I love having a bit of color in my salads, and it just adds a real bit of depth to your repertoire. Alrighty, now for the fun bit. No dish is complete without a bit of ginger, so we're adding a nice farm of ginger, about that much. In he goes. More if you like your ginger. Ginger is one of the most amazing anti-carcinogens, full of all sorts of medicinal compounds. It's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for millennia, and it's just a fantastic root that we should all be using a lot in our cuisine. We're also going to throw in a very delicious bulb of garlic. So this is from France. The wild garlic season's just finished. I've been doing a lot of dishes with using English wild garlic, which is actually a wild onion, and that's growing everywhere. You'll see the white flowers growing all through the woods. You'll be walking through, get this wonderful aroma of garlic. And I just love garlic. It's full of folic acid for men, great for your libido. So, into that guy. I'm a bit of a garlic fiend. I like to keep those vampires away, even though they're mostly in the banks of London. we will pull off the skin. I'm gonna put 1 in. I'm gonna put 2 in. Probably gonna put 4. So 4 cloves of garlic. I like it quite garlicky. It's always better to start small and build up. Oh, good job I wasn't in a cricket scene. Tricky little bugger. Do you know what? Really simple. Save me frassing around. Just crush it. Takes the skin off. Really simply, in it goes. Banging.
You don't peel the ginger.
Say again, buddy?
You don't peel the ginger.
No, so actually with most vegetables, including the garlic, roast these, you can eat the skin. Most vegetables, the skin is where it's at. That's what you want to be eating. Things like oranges, it's actually the white pith that we often peel out. That's where all the vitamin C is, that's where all the macro and micronutrients are. We really want to be using skin. I never peel any of my vegetables. You need to make sure you're getting organic stuff though. So when it's organic, you're blessed. We need to be eating a lot more soil. We live in a very sterile world. And I'm going to be talking about the lack of sterility and actually encouraging germs in our next ingredient, which is about to come up. So that's your base. You've got a little bit of cashew nut to go in there as well. Just give it a nice bit of crunch. I like using cashews because for a vegan, you can do so much with this. Anything from cheeses to milks to butters to sushi rice. So I'm gonna put a bit of cashew in there. We're gonna add a tiny little bit of oil. I don't actually have sesame seed oil today because it's an allergen, but we're using sunflower seed oil. I would urge you to use sesame seed oil. It has a really wonderful oriental flavor. We use a little bit of oil just to bind these ingredients together. So using about a tablespoon. We are gonna add a bit of kinetic energy into this mix. Oh, maybe not. There we go. So we just want to pulse it a little bit. We don't want the mix to be completely blended and fine. We want it to be quite coarse. We want it to actually have a quite couscous-like texture. So it might just need a little bit more breaking up. My blender's very tired. It's been a long weekend. Bless him, he's done a lot of cakes for you beautiful souls, so he's nearly there. So just break that up a little bit. I can smell this fantastic aroma of the garlic, of the ginger. It's really wafting through, and that's gonna marinate really nicely. Add a little more pulse. And then just because it's sushi, we want a little bit of a pond-like, sea-like twist. We're gonna add a little bit of spirulina into that. Now, I like using spirulina, one, because I hate getting asked the question, where do you get your protein as a vegan? I'm sick of answering that question. Bloody everywhere. But this guy has 3 times more protein than steak, gram for gram. Coupled with the fact that it is one of the most powerful medicinal plants we have. It's actually not a plant, it's an algae. It's great. It's got B vitamin 12. It's got a plethora of other wonderful ingredients like loads of iron. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Get to know spirulina, whack it in your smoothies. It does have a very sea-like flavor, quite pond-like. My mates used to call it pond water. It's great. It has a wonderful color as well. So we're just gonna add half a teaspoon of that into there. Just give it a little bit more of a fishy flavor. And just add a bit more micronutrients into the mix. Now, here comes the fun part. We're gonna season it with a little bit of rice wine vinegar. Again, about half a teaspoon. This is the bad boy. This is where all the fun is. In this wonderful little pot, it is a brown rice miso. Now, we should be eating, I gave a talk yesterday on raw cacao. This is our company, by the way, guys. We are Honest Edibles. We're trying to start a bit of a plant-based revolution up in Leeds about seasonality, locality, organic produce, and a deeper mind-body connection. On that note, a deep mind and body connection, we're actually 90% germ. For every 1 cell we have that's human, we have 9 bacteria in our body. So it's really important we get this balance of bacteria and human cells right. This guy is a fermented soybean, a bit like how kimchi has really loads of good bacteria. Miso is packed full of fun. It's using a koji culture. And when we have this good balance of good bacteria, you often hear this probiotic word in our yogurts and things like that. What is probiotics? Well, it's just the right bacteria. And when we have the right bacteria, that helps with our digestion. It really helps with our ability to assimilate nutrients. And more than that, it is the most powerful way to prevent disease and illness. So you want to be getting the right bacteria in our gut. Bacteria aren't bad. Well, some are, but like getting the right bacteria in our body really prevents us from getting ill. And that's what helps us prevent disease and infection. So brown rice miso, get to know it. It's a really delicious product. And it's going to give a real depth and earthiness into the sushi. Livia, you got a spoon, sweetheart? So we're going to add about a spoon of that. Now we should really be eating a lot more fermented foods. We have a real love for fermented foods, anything from chocolate, which is the most widely eaten food on this planet. This is what I was talking about yesterday. To anything like sauerkraut, to kimchi, to beer, to wine. We absolutely love fermented foods. So it makes sense for us to get to know miso. They absolutely love it in the East. And yeah, just a fantastic ingredient. It tastes great. You've got loads of different types. We're using an organic brown rice one. You have barley misos, you have soy misos, you have white paste misos, which are a little bit sweeter. This is a real earthy, naughty flavor. So get to know this guy. And the final ingredient, we're just going to use a touch of soy sauce to season it. I'm going to give it one final whirl, see how it gets on. So like I say, you want to keep it quite coarse. You don't want to blend it, over blend it, so you lose all that sushiness. Beautiful, that's looking good. Just double check that. Make sure it's safe for you guys. Bad boy, it's looking good. Okay, so that's your rice. Fantastic, you can use that rice for so many different things. Cauliflower couscous has become a bit of a trend recently, so definitely want to make it home. Super easy. If you want to encourage a bit more raw elements into your diet, fantastic way to do it. The filling of the sushi today is going to be an avocado. You can do absolutely anything. My girlfriend wants me to try and use a bit more pickled beetroot. You can do sweet potatoes. You can do absolutely anything. Whatever your favorite vegetable is, utilize that. And this, I often find with sushi, the rice is really bland and they completely are dependent on this dipping sauce, whether or not it's the wasabi, the pickled ginger, or the soy sauce. If you infuse all your flavors into the sushi rice, you're chilling. And then you can have this beautiful creaminess of the avocado to balance it. So we're just gonna quickly cut this guy in half. I like using avocados because of the good fats in here. I also just love it how it balances, it gives it a real creamy texture to your dishes. And yeah, you're laughing. Alrighty. Now, I would strongly urge who's a first timer for making sushi? Everyone, beautiful, apart from you. Smashing. So basically what you want to be doing, pulling your sushi nori out very slowly. Seaweed is the one. It is an incredible resource. We actually can't metabolize iodine in our diet. So, we can't produce iodine in our body and we have to get it through our diet. So it's really important that we find ingredients that enable us to have these beautiful minerals. And iodine is obviously basically solely found in the ocean. So get to know sushi wrapping. This is a nori wrap. It's very high in protein. So you're getting a complete protein here. It has 9 essential amino acids. And yeah, you just want to quickly get this blade out because this will hurt you. So with the seaweed wrap, it usually comes with little striations going left to right. So going horizontally, that's how you want to keep it. You just want to lay it down. If you had a bamboo wrap, this would make life very easy for you guys. And I'd strongly encourage any of you who are first timers to use a bamboo wrap. You basically keep the bamboos going left to right. You have it underneath, you put your nori down, and then you start to roll in the technique I'm just about to show you guys. You got this beautiful filling. It's got a lovely color to it. You're just gonna add a little bit of the rice right at the bottom. Can everyone see? Yep, absolutely. If you can't see, do feel free to come off. I won't bite. Beautiful. So, the first time I made sushi, I made it like a burrito. I just packed it in. I was like, yeah, I want all of that goodness in there. Rolled it up and I was eating this thing and it just didn't hold its form. So you need to make sure, the blessings of sushi is you can roll it super tight and it comes out amazing. The key to good sushi is rolling it super tight. So you want to make sure you've got a nice base of the sushi, pack it down. We're just showing you a really simple technique. You can do so many different forms of sushi out there. You can do inverted, you can do the whole thing and it has like a kind of spiraled effect. Today we just do a really classic, iconic sushi nori that you guys will recognize. So we've basically got this lovely little line of the rice down the bottom. Now comes the fun part. Just want a little bit of the avocado. You want to line that up nicely there. And one last little bit. Gorgeous. Look at that. It's not even done yet. So what will happen is as soon as you put the rice down, the moisture from the rice will start soaking into the nori. This is cool, this is good, this is what we want. But we just want to lift the bottom of it and we just want to fold it over. Just like that. And it's very similar to rolling a cigarette or a big cigar. You're just gonna roll it. So you just wanna fold it over like that. Keep pulling it back. And like I say, it's really important to keep this as tight as you can. So using the back of your knife, if you were using a rolling mat, you just roll it over, you'd pull it back, and that makes it really, really easy. So you just keep pulling it back with the back of your knife, tucking it in. And as the moisture soaks into the nori wrap, it becomes a lot more malleable, becomes a lot softer, a lot more pliable to use, makes life a lot easier. And you just keep folding it back like that, making it nice and tight, making sure there's no air bubbles in there. Tucking that in. And then roll it a little bit more, making sure it's good and tight. Again, pushing it back, just keep pushing it back. The tighter you make that sushi, the better it's gonna look. Hello, young lady. Making sushi, fishless sushi. Nothing fishy about this. That's it, she's clever. No fish, don't worry. We're all safe here. We won't be harming those fishies. They're better in the ocean. And then you've basically got yourself a nice little burrito. You can have that, you can just staunch it down. It's banging like that. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna add a little bit of water. I'm gonna wet my hands quickly. So just like an envelope, you lick the end of your envelope, get a nice seal there. And you just wrap that over. And just make sure that's nice and sealed. And there we go. We've basically got ourselves a beautiful little nori wrap. We're gonna tuck in those ends. You can leave that for about a minute. Just let that moisture seep through into the nori. It makes it a lot easier to cut. Because we're in a little rush today, we're just gonna cut through this nicely. Who would like a sample? Fantastic. Now it's really important, as you're cutting the sushi, you're not pressing down too hard. It will completely de-shape your sushi. You want it to be nice and round. The key to that is having a very sharp knife. The amount of kitchens I've worked in and it's just been some blunt, awful piece of metal. You don't want that. You want a nice sharp knife. It allows your cutting to be super, super easy and chilled. You just allow the knife to do the work. And there we have it. We have some very delicious spirulina raw sushi, which you guys are gonna come and enjoy. We are Honest Edibles, and we are, like I say, striving to make a better world through plant-based nutrition. It's about mindful eating. It's also about conscious consumerism. Get to know us, and yeah, big love. Thank you for coming and enjoying this wonderful little vegan sushi class. Peace out. You're most welcome. Enjoy. I'm gonna make another one. Just whack it in your mouth. Enjoy.